Good morning you guys, it's Karen, and tomorrow we are all going on holiday to Aviemore. We're only going for 3 days, but Watson does require his little suitcase to fit in all the things we need to take. I suppose because there's dog bowls and towels and things like that. So I thought it might be interesting to you to see what we pack for Watson. I am well aware that there will probably be people thinking, if not saying, that Watson is spoiled. I know he's spoiled. I have made it my goal in life to make sure that Watson has an enriched life and is not in pain and, you know, is comfortable and happy at all times as much as I can manage. So I'm fully aware of that. So you might look at some of these things and think, wow, that's a lot. So let me first show you this is his medicine bag. Some of this is just necessary, you know. So what have we got? It looks like it's a Tresemme bottle. It was once upon a time, but in here is what's called chlorhexidine, and it is an anti-yeast spray. So Watson has a yeast allergy, and if he's itching his paws, this is something we can spray on to alleviate the itch a little bit. I always take Germaline for him just in case he gets anything, any kind of cut or scrape, etc. Although I have got another one in here that I'll show you just now, because Germaline is just a human one, obviously, but this one is called Isoderm, and this is for anything that is quite serious. I'm not sure how I differentiate between when I would use this and when I would use that, but this one stings. This Isoderm is an antibiotic plus. Pretty sure it's an antibiotic. Maybe it's not. It's something that's very strong anyway, and we've been told to use this before, but it is something that stings. So if I think it's not necessary to use this, I would use Germaline. I've got Metacam for Watson, or Meloxicam, I can't remember which one this is. It's the same thing. It's basically like ibuprofen. It's an anti-inflammatory, and this is for if he gets really bad ear infections, he's in pain, but also if he limps. We still have this intermittent limping problem with his back left leg or hip. We're not sure what it is. It's the one that we were diagnosed as having hip dysplasia, and then there's been a lot happened since then. I need to do a video actually telling you that, but we're not really sure what it is. So that's what I use for that. This is Resicort. These are steroid drops for his ears. We've just finished a course of antibiotic and steroid drops, and these are just, if he's in pain, it gives, it's not very much left, but it gives a little bit of anti-inflammatory right in his ears, so this will help. And I've actually got some cotton wool there. That is just to clean out his ears if they get dirty. Then what else medical wise? These are Symbiotic D, or Symbiotic DC it says on there. They're probiotics, and Watson is prone to colitis, especially if he's not having his raw food. His tummy can get, not upset, but you know, not the digestion you would like. But if his tummy does get upset, if he eats anything he shouldn't, like if he eats a crab or whatnot, these probiotic capsules, I feel like helps his stomach recover quicker. I just get those off Amazon, but I did check it with the vet, if that makes sense. These are Piriton. This will top up the other drugs that I've got in here, which is Apoquel. And here I've got his Apoquel because we have to cut it into 4. And he gets half in the morning and half in the evening, and then he also gets an injection once a month called Cytopoint. Those two together normally keep him at an okay level, but he does still sometimes chew his paws, and so if he's chewing himself a lot, we can give him a Piriton to kind of top that up. Or that's just the syringe thing for the Metacam. Then as it happens, we are going on the day that Watson is due flea and worm in tomorrow, and so I've taken his flea and worm in with him to give with his evening meal. And the final thing in this bag is just a little bottle of shampoo. This is the Groom Professional, but I also mix in here some Hibby Scrub, which is an anti-fungal shampoo, because normally when we wash him, like I'm going to wash him today and he'll get an anti-allergy wash, so I'll put it on, leave it on, you know, that kind of thing. But this is just in case he rolls in anything nasty or, you know, gets completely muddy, something like that. We would give him a quick wash on holiday. So that's everything in his little medical bag. Stuff, you'll see stuff piling up, because I shall put it behind me so I can pack it right back again. I've got 2 towels. They're just old towels, because obviously you don't want to use the hotel towels to get them dry. I've got his, oh, crash bang, I've got his robe. This is actually one that's a little bit too small for him, but it's a bit more of a lightweight one, and it will certainly do the job. I've got a collar with me just in case he's got a new harness on, which is a beautiful tartan harness, and the only thing is I'm not sure if it's going to rub against his skull where he had his tumour removed, and so I just wanted to take a collar just in case it does look like it's rubbing. I've then got an alternative. I've got 2 bowls. Just recently bought this copper one. I might buy another one. One for food, one for water. Talking of food, let me get all his food out, his meals anyway. I just put them in these little plastic bags. So these 2 are for his breakfast. These 2 are his dinner. As you can see, I've labelled them. And then that one is extra because we use some bits of kibble when he's walking to play find it and whatnot. Watson is raw fed. Oh, I haven't put his flea and worming back in there. So what was I saying? Watson is raw fed most of the time. So breakfast and dinner. It used to be just dinner, and he does fine on having raw food just for dinner and having kibble for breakfast. But he does occasionally just go off it and just not want to eat. He's a very, very fussy eater, is our Watson. And so when he doesn't eat his breakfast, I'll give him kibble and he's quite happy with that. Now, normally when we go away, we take the raw food because if we're doing self-catering, it's fairly easy because we can put it into a freezer bag for the journey down, then we put it straight into the freezer when we're there. But this is a hotel and we don't even have a fridge in the room that we're going to. Now, we're only there for 2 nights and 3 days, so we figured we will give him kibble for his dinner. And to make it a little bit more interesting, I'll be using one of these each night with it. It's the Crave pate with lamb and beef, so this is a complete wet food. And he's had this before and really loved it, and it also didn't upset his tummy, which is really hard to find something like that for Watson. So I'll put his dinner with one of those each night. And like I say, there's an extra one for walking. I've put on this is to take his pills. We normally use a bit of ham to give him his Apoquel and, you know, whatever else he needs, and we can't take it because we don't have a fridge. So I'm going to try and sort of squish it into one of these little pork with beef mini bites. Everything else in here is kind of enrichment, toys and treats basically. So these 2 are empty Sunpat peanut butter, no added sugar. Ooh, one's crunchy, one's smooth. I eat a lot of peanut butter, and when I finish the pots, I save them for Watson, and we'll use these whenever we're going out for dinner, if we're going to the in-laws, just any situation where I need him to be occupied and not paying attention to what food we're eating. So because we're away for 2 nights, each night we're in the restaurant, I'll give him one of these and he absolutely loves it and it lasts him ages. Okay, so first thing I have, actually, where's my other Enrich? So Watson is kind of in a routine, not kind of, he's in a routine, and he's very much an OCD dog. You do things at a certain time, certain people do certain things, so, you know, if Kev goes to play with him, he's like, what's happening? Because normally it's me that plays with him in the evening. He'll only play with toys after his evening walk. He'll only eat his dinner on his way out on his 3rd walk. You know, he's very OCD. Actually, it was suggested to us by a particular vet that he could have doggy autism because of just the way he is, you know. And I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest, but obviously we're not going to do anything about treating it. But he has an enrichment treat, an enrichment game after his evening walk. Watson definitely needs his mind to be exercised as much as his body. And in fact, I would say we try to reduce his walks, but you guys would still be astonished, I expect, at how much exercise he gets, because he still gets 3 to 4 hours at least of walking a day, less at the weekends. Anyway, my point being is he gets an enrichment treat after his evening walk. And so I'm taking them with me. So the first one, I've put on it Enrich, just so I know what everything is. This is just a plat. You'll have seen me give a plat before, use a plat before. It's just fleece that I've made into a plat and I tuck treats in it. So that'll be for evening 1. And then this one is just a little bag of treats and it says Enrich and in brackets find it. So because we're in a new environment, it will be nice to put the treats around the room and let him find it. To be honest, these might not get used because we're in a hotel. It's a situation that Watson is normally a little bit anxious in because it's new and he doesn't know what's happening, so we may not even need to give him any of these games. He does tend to sleep quite a lot when we're on holiday as well. These 2 you will laugh at. They are called Bath. This one, let's see if I can open this actually. I'm ruining my label, but I'm sure I'll figure it out. Okay, this is It's just a plastic thing, and it's got these sort of spikes in it. You get these spikes, and well, I can't pull it out, but I poked all of those in. And you can get different shapes. You can get a little dinosaur, and then you buy the little poking spike, so it takes him quite a while to play with that. So it's another kind of enrichment treat. And then this one is liver paste, and that's a little mini coaster, so I'll use that kind of like a licky mat, but I don't want a big licky mat because I don't want him to have too much of the liver pate. Put this back together again. So the reason I have these, and they say bath, is because I have a bath every day, and Watson gets a treat while I'm in the bath. And this is one of those things where I have created a monster, if you like, or I have made a rod for my own back, because Watson now, around about when he knows bath time is due, will go and sit in the bathroom, and he, you know, won't move until it's bath time. And sometimes I've had a shower and I'm like, I've had a shower, dude, I'm not having a bath, so I have to give him something anyway. What he normally gets is a frozen, you know, the Philadelphia light cheeses in the little squares. He normally gets one of those, a frozen one. But how this came about was when he was a puppy, he would come into the bathroom and he would try and get into the bath, and we managed to stop him getting into the bath, and I was like, you know, just with a no, but he would try and drink the water, and the water had like bubbles in it or bath salts or whatever, and obviously we didn't want him to. So I used to give him a little something to occupy him, and that's just kind of continued on over the years. And so, like I said, I know that it's something that's something, if I had another dog, I would learn by my mistake, and I would probably try to have bath time alone. Would I? I don't know, because I don't mind. It's quite funny, you know, and I have the door open, so it's not like I don't particularly want the door closed. So I don't know, but I know that he is very spoiled in that respect. Then I've got, this one just says PM lamb. These are just 2 lamb fillets. And they're just something that he gets. If Kev and I are having snacks like crisps or nuts or something, we give him one of these. And all of these things I feel like kind of ensure that he doesn't get any unhealthy scraps, if you know what I mean, or anything that he shouldn't really eat, because he does, like, if Kev's having cheesy cheddars, Watson loves those, and he would definitely sit and eat those, and we would probably sit and give them to him, but he has one of these and he's quite happy with that. Then this bag is very full, as you can see. I won't use all of these. This is just so I've got treats ready. It says on it walk. So this is if we go out for a walk. When we go for a family walk, I tend to do it as an activity walk. So I will do some training with him, like I do things like I send him around a tree, do a bit of kind of, I think it's called parkour, so we'll get him to jump over things and go under things. I get him to sit and stay and see how long I can walk away for. And I also do find it, so, you know, throw treats on the ground, or I hide them on a tree log and things like that. And it always means that we get an extra hour of sleeping from Watson, you know, so when if he goes for a walk for an hour here, he would sleep for, say, an hour. If he goes for an hour and we do a find it game, he'd sleep for 2 hours. And he's got a very active brain, and, you know, that's a doodle thing. He definitely needs that to be utilised. Needs to utilise his brain. But I may not need these. I may not need to use these. I will put a few of these into a pouch before we go out on our different walks and see how he is. Because he's in a new environment, there might be enough smells to occupy him. Like, we took him the other day to somewhere that had badger holes, and he didn't need any treats or any kind of interaction, because he's not one that will follow a ball. He won't chase the ball. I mean, there's videos of him chasing a ball, but it was just, he had a little phase where he was interested in a ball, but he would chase it, put it in his mouth, and then just hold it in his mouth and do nothing with it. He doesn't necessarily play with other dogs. He's quite funny. You know, he's funny and picky about who he plays with, and so he's quite happy ambling along, but he really enjoys, like, using his nose to find treats. So that's what those are for. This is just extras. This is lamb tails and tendons. There's a beef tendon in there, which is a really long-lasting chew, and a lamb tail, which he gets occasionally. So these are just because we're on holiday, if we want to give him something extra, basically. Not that he doesn't get enough there, as you can see. This is another thing that we use on the walks. I normally use gun oil because he's been trained in scenting for gun oil, but this is duck training scent, and I think he prefers the duck training scent because obviously gun means nothing to him, whereas ducks he would chase. So I don't know whether it does actually smell like ducks, but we sometimes use this. And then I take something like this, this is a cat toy, and I'll put some of this on here and we take this on the walk, and sometimes instead of just throwing treats for him to find, I'll throw this into the grass and he needs to go and search this out and bring it back to me, and that's something else that kind of makes the walks fun. And then finally are his 2 toys. Now Watson isn't a dog that enjoys playing with toys. Like, you could never give him a squeaky toy. He couldn't care less about squeaking. The only thing he really likes to do is he likes to chew things and pull them apart. But even then, he has to be in the mood. So I would say during the week, he probably plays 50% of the time. So after his last walk, he comes in, has his enrichment treat, and then I try and tempt him to play. And if he doesn't want to, he just goes and lies down. And if he does, he'll be sitting chewing something. This is something that he does really like. And this is just my homemade version of a flirt pole, because I used to buy him flirt poles, but they just were so expensive. They're like £30 or something, or 25 now maybe, and they just wouldn't last very long because he would chase it, but then he would chew it, and you know, the rope would be chewed and it would be gone. So I make my own. Happy to do a video on how I did that if you are interested. So I just kind of, you know, move that around and he chases it and then kind of rips it apart. He generally then will chew through this and maybe even chew through the handle. So that toy, and then this is the other type of toy that Watson likes. And what we do is any old clothes that we have, any old pajamas, anything like that, we cut just little bits of strips. So this is probably from the sleeve or the bottom, and then tie a knot in it, and we make them into rings like that. It's kind of like Christmas decorations, isn't it? And if I do this with Watson, he will come and chew through it, and he'll sit and probably chew through all this. We'll sit there for 10-15 minutes and he just chews through each one. And if I just left him with that and didn't hold it for him, he's not interested. Like, I actually have to hold it and he chews through it. And if we aren't paying full attention, he won't play either. So if I get my phone out or something, he just stops what he's doing and looks at us like, no, you need to be focused on me. This is our one-to-one time, you know. So I've just taken some of my old clothes as a toy for him. That's everything that's in the suitcase. I've got my list here that I use. This is Watson's pack list, and there are a couple of things that still need to go in there, but we can't do until tomorrow morning when we're leaving. His bed, we take his bed with us. We take his cool mat with us, because his bed and his cool mat are pretty much where he sleeps, if not behind the window, etc, etc. But the bed will be something that he'll sleep in at night, and that'll be his kind of home comfort, because they say if you're taking a dog on holiday, to bring something from home that, you know, comforts them, and he'll have that. And the cool mat, just because it's so hot at the moment and he gets so hot. Hotel rooms can sometimes be really hot as well, so it'll be good to have his cool mat. Pod battery, Watson has a GPS pod tracker on his harness, so I need to take a spare battery and a plug to charge it with. And the only other thing is his toothbrush and toothpaste, because obviously we'll be cleaning his teeth tonight, and I'll pack that tomorrow morning. So that's everything that we are taking for Watson on holiday. I hope that you enjoyed that. It will certainly make sure that Watson, you know, anything that happens to him, pretty much we should be able to cope with and keep him allergy free, pain free, etc, etc. Thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you take for your dog on holiday. Do you take all of these things, or half of these things, or none of these things? I love that most people will go on a holiday with their dog nowadays. You know, there's so many dog friendly places. This place we're going to in Aviemore, if it's any good, I will be putting details on my Facebook page, and I'll probably be doing some filming as well. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.